20 plants the ancients trusted. Dona Maria woke up with a headache that felt like a hammer hitting her forehead. She grumbled, rubbing her eyes, and looked at the clock. 6 in the morning. Another bad night's sleep, he thought. He got up slowly, went to the kitchen and opened the window. The smell of wet earth entered along with the birdsong. Outside, his grandson, Lucas, was already squatting in the yard, working in the vegetable garden. "Grandma, you look pale," he said, raising his head. "Did you have enough coffee yesterday?" "I had coffee, but I didn't sleep," she replied, leaning against the door. "And now this pain." Lucas wiped his hands on his pants and ran inside. "Wait a minute, Grandma. I'll be right back." Dona Maria sighed and sat down in the rocking chair. Minutes later, Lucas returned with a handful of green leaves in his hand. "Just look. This here is rosemary. You always say it's good for memory, but it's also good for headaches. We make tea." "Ah, my son, you remember the things I teach," she said, smiling for the first time that day. While the water was heating on the stove, Lucas pulled out a chair and sat next to his grandmother. "Grandma, why do you know so much about plants? We buy medicine at the pharmacy, but you always use these herbs." Dona Maria laughed, picking up the rosemary leaves and smelling them. "Because in the past there wasn't a pharmacy on every corner, Lucas. People trusted plants. They were the medicine, the food, even the perfume. And it wasn't just here in Brazil, no. All over the world, the ancients knew things." Lucas was curious. "Like what, Grandma?" "Oh, there are so many things," she said, counting on her fingers. "Garlic, for example. The Egyptians used it to give strength to the workers who built the pyramids. Chamomile, which we take to sleep, the Romans already used to calm their nerves. And the aloe. The ancient Greeks applied it to their skin to cure burns." "Wow." Lucas widened his eyes. "And here in Brazil?" "Here too. The Indians used lemon balm for stomach pain, boldo for liver, and rue." "Well, we still use rue to this day to ward off the evil eye," she said, winking. Lucas laughed. "And do you believe that?" "I believe that plants help, my grandson. It's not magic, it's ancient science. People observed, tested, and passed on knowledge. Just like I'm doing with you." The smell of rosemary tea filled the kitchen. Dona Maria took a sip and sighed. "I'm feeling better already. Grandma, can you teach me more?" Lucas asked, excited. "Like, what are the 20 plants that the ancients most trusted?" Dona Maria smiled, happy with her grandson's interest. "Let's go, then. Write it down in the notebook that I know you take to school." Lucas ran to get the notebook and ran back. "Ready. First, rosemary," she began. "As I said, it's good for memory and headaches. Students in ancient Greece wore rosemary crowns to help with their studies. Like a natural energy drink? That. Second, chamomile. The Egyptians offered it to the gods and used it for fever. Third, mint. The Greeks scrubbed the tables before parties to make the place smell good. But today we use it to make mints." "Exactly." Wednesday, garlic. Roman soldiers ate to gain strength. Thursday, ginger. In ancient China, they used it for nausea and sore throat. Lucas wrote quickly. Friday, babosa. The Egyptians called it the plant of immortality. 7th, lemon balm. Brazilian Indians used it to calm down. 8th, boldo. For those who ate too much and have a stomach ache. Nona, calendula. The Romans made skin ointment. 10th, lavender. The Persians put them in their baths to relax. Wow, Grandma, so much. There's still more. 11th, basil. In India, it is sacred and used for coughing. 12th, salvia. The Chinese exchanged it for black tea. 13th, dandelion. In Europe, they used it to clean blood. 14th, nettle. The Romans hit the leaves on their skin to warm their bodies in the cold. That's right. 15th, losna. The Egyptians used it for worms. 16th, clove. In ancient China, they chewed to improve their breath. 17th, cinnamon. The Egyptians used it in rituals. 18th, saffron. In Greece, it was used as a dye and medicine. 19th, fennel. The Greeks believed it gave courage. And the 20th, Grandma? 20th, aruda. Europeans used it to protect against diseases and, well, Against the evil eye too, she said, laughing. Lucas closed the notebook. Now I understand why you like plants so much. They're like natural superheroes. Dona Maria laughed. That's right, my grandson. And the best thing is that they don't need a prescription or internet. Just care and respect. At that moment, Lucas's father entered the kitchen, yawning. Good morning, family. What are you guys doing so excited? Dad, Grandma is teaching me about the plants that the ancients used. Lucas said, excited. Did you know that garlic gave strength to the Egyptians? The father laughed. And even. So I'm going to eat more garlic for dinner. Who knows, maybe I'll become as strong as a pharaoh. Dona Maria laughed. Better not to overdo it, otherwise we'll have to sleep with the windows open. Everyone laughed. The sun was already up, and the yard sparkled with morning dew. Dona Maria looked at the plants that grew there, each one with its own story, each one with its own power. And he thought, knowledge doesn't die, it just passes from hand to hand. Lucas put the notebook in his pocket and ran to water the garden. Grandma, tomorrow will you teach me how to make chamomile tea? Of course, my son. Tomorrow we'll make a strong one so you can sleep like a baby. And so, between laughter and stories, the day started light, full of learning and love for the simple things in life. The sun was getting hotter, and the smell of wet earth wafted through the yard. Lucas ran to the vegetable garden, but stopped suddenly. Grandma, look. He pointed to a small plant, with thin leaves and purple flowers. This one wasn't here yesterday. Dona Maria approached and smiled. Ah, that's the rue. Strong plant, full of mystery. Mystery? Lucas frowned. Like magic. More or less. She crouched down and touched the leaves carefully. In the past, people used rue to ward off bad things. They said it protected against the evil eye and even against disease. Serious? Lucas widened his eyes. So she's like a plant shield? That's right. Dona Maria laughed. But you have to be careful. She's too strong for some people. Pregnant women, for example, cannot even come close. Why? Because rue can harm the baby. She picked up a twig and smelled it. Everything in life has two sides, Lucas. Even the plants. Lucas was thoughtful. So rue is good and bad at the same time? Exactly. Like fire. It heats up, but it burns. Like water. Quenches thirst, but can drown. Wow. Lucas looked at the plant with respect. And how did people use it? In many ways. Some made tea, others carried a twig in their pocket. They even put it in their hair for good luck. I want a little twig. Lucas extended his hand. Calm down, boy. Dona Maria held his wrist. First we learn to respect. Then use it. Lucas nodded, seriously. It's okay. But tomorrow can we harvest a little? Tomorrow, yes. Today, just look. She stood up and shook the dirt from her hands. Now go help your father pick the tomatoes. He's already mumbling that he has back pain. Lucas laughed and ran away. Father, Grandma said rue is good luck. Do you want a little something in your pocket? The father, with a bucket full of red tomatoes, looked at his wife. Maria, what have you been teaching the boy? Dona Maria shrugged, feigning innocence. Just the truth. Plants keep secrets. And we need to know how to listen. The father shook his head, but smiled. Okay. But nothing in my pocket. I'm already lucky enough with you too. And so, between laughter and ripe tomatoes, the day continued. Dona Maria's backyard wasn't just a place for plants. It was a place of stories, care, and lessons that could fit in the palm of your hand. Lucas ran back to his grandmother, holding a handful of fresh rue. Grandma, Dad didn't want it. But I kept a branch for myself, he said, stuffing the plant in his shorts pocket. Dona Maria laughed and ruffled his hair. Careful, boy. Aruda is strong. You won't rub it in your eyes, okay? It's okay. Lucas grimaced. And this other plant here? He pointed to a bush with purple leaves near the wall. Ah, that's the sage. The ancients believed that it ward off bad energy. Like a plant shield? Lucas widened his eyes. That's right. And it also helps to clear the mind. If one day you have to make a difficult decision, smell a leaf of it. The boy tore off a leaf and smelled it. He closed his eyes and wrinkled his nose. It smells like Grandma's tea. Dona Maria laughed. That's almost it. Now go and see if your father needs help with the tomatoes. Otherwise he'll grumble again. Lucas ran, but stopped halfway. Grandma, what if I take a sprig of sage to Dad? So he can stop grumbling? Could it be? But I think he already has you for that. She winked. The father, still with the bucket in his hand, saw his son approaching with the purple leaf. What is this now, Lucas? Salvia, father. To make you calmer. The father laughed and took the sheet. Okay, doctor. But if I stay too calm, who will grumble around here? Lucas shrugged. I mumble. But just a little. And so, between plants and games, Dona Maria's backyard remained alive, full of laughter and stories that no one ever forgot. Lucas ran back to his grandmother, but stopped again. Something glowed near the rosemary plant. Grandma, look. A coin. Dona Maria approached and took the coin between her fingers. This one is really old. It must have fallen out of your great-grandfather's pocket when he was gardening. Did he also use plants for everything? I used it. And more than me. He said that rue wards off bad eyes, that basil brought luck, and that chamomile calmed even a couple's quarrel. Lucas's eyes widened. And did it work? Well, your great-grandfather and great-grandmother lived together until they were 90. So, she shrugged. But don't tell your father I said that. He thinks I only believe these things because I'm old. I won't tell, Lucas promised, but he was already thinking about how to use the information. The next day, the boy appeared in the kitchen with a sprig of rue behind his ear. What's that for? Asked the father, stirring the pot of beans. To ward off bad eyes. Grandma said her great-grandfather used it. The father almost dropped the spoon. Lucas, get it out of there before I start to believe you. Okay. He laughed, but didn't take it off. Dona Maria entered the kitchen and saw the scene. Leave the boy alone, João. If he wants protection, let him have it. Protection against what? The father grumbled. Against me giving him a hard time? Against you grumbling too much, Lucas replied quickly. His father pretended to run after him, but he just shook his head. This boy is going to drive me crazy. Dona Maria smiled and picked up a handful of mint. Here, João. Chew some leaves. It will calm you down. Peppermint doesn't work miracles, Mom. No. So why are you already taking deep breaths? The father stopped, realized that he was actually calmer, and threw his hands up. Okay. But only because I like the smell. Lucas laughed and ran into the backyard. There, he picked up a wormwood branch that his grandmother had left drying. Grandma, what is this ugly plant for? Losna. Ah, it's bitter, but it's good for digestion. Your great-grandfather drank tea when he ate too much. You. Who would want to take that? Ancient people didn't have pharmacy medicine, Lucas. They trusted the plants. And often, it worked. Like rue. Like sage. Like the wormwood. Lucas looked at the yard, full of leaves, flowers, and stories. So we're like a living medicine? Dona Maria ran her hand through his hair. More or less. We are what's left over from a time when people looked at the ground before looking at the sky. Lucas was quiet for a moment. Then he took the old coin out of his pocket. Grandma, what if we plant this coin? Will a money tree grow? She laughed so hard she almost dropped the basket of herbs. Oh, Lucas. You're impossible. But what if it works? So we'll have to share it with everyone. Because money that comes from the earth is not just ours. Lucas grimaced. It's okay. But if it's born, I'll keep half. Deal, Dona Maria said, knowing that, in any case, the yard was already rich enough. Lucas ran to the rue tree, where he had dug a hole earlier. The earth was still soft, smelling of yesterday's rain. Grandma, this is the perfect place, he said, pointing. The rue is strong, it can handle it. Dona Maria approached, wiping her hands on her apron. Too strong, sometimes. This plant even scares away the evil eye, you know? So she's going to protect the currency too? Lucas asked, hopefully. Could it be? But money doesn't like to stay buried, Lucas. He likes to move around. But what if we do a test? Just a little? She sighed, but her eyes were shining. It's okay. But only if you promise one thing. What? That if something is born, we won't sell it. Don't even change. We take care. Lucas thought for a while. Then he nodded. Closed. But if it's a tree of gold coins, I want a branch for myself. Donna Maria laughed and shook her head. You really are stubborn. Lucas placed the coin in the hole and covered it with earth. He pressed it tightly, as if planting a secret. And now we wait. How long? As long as you need. Good things are never in a hurry. Lucas sat next to the rue tree, his legs dangling. He looked at the yard, full of plants that had seen so much. Grandma, what if nothing happens? Then we try again. Or accept that some things are just stories. But what if it happens? Donna Maria smiled. Then we'll have a new story to tell. Lucas was quiet, wondering. Then he jumped off the ground. I'm going to get water. Don't overfill, huh? She shouted, but he had already disappeared into the house. While filling the watering can, Lucas looked out the window. The yard looked different now. It wasn't just a bunch of plants. It was a place full of possibilities. Even the buried coins seemed to shine a little, even underground. He ran back, splashing water as he went. Grandma, what if we plant other things too? Like what? I don't know, a shirt button? A rusty nail? Donna Maria laughed. I don't think nails grow flowers, Lucas. But what if it happens? She sighed, but didn't say no. After all, the backyard already had room for everything. Even for the wildest dreams. Lucas took an old nail from his grandfather's toolbox. It was rusty, crooked, the kind no one uses anymore. He held it in the palm of his hand and showed it to Donna Maria. Just look. This one is asking to become a plant. She shook her head, but her eyes sparkled. Okay, but you won't cry when nothing is born. I promise not. The two dug a shallow hole near the coin. Lucas placed the nail carefully, as if it were a treasure. He covered it with earth and pressed it with his hands. Ready. Now just wait. Donna Maria filled the watering can again. Wait and take care. Plants don't grow alone, no. The next day, Lucas woke up before the sun. He jumped out of bed and ran to the backyard. The earth was the same, just a small mound where the nail was. He sighed. Nothing yet. But he didn't give up. Every day, after school, he went there. He got wet, talked to the earth, even sang a silly song he invented. Prego, pregino, turn into a leaf, turn into a twig. A week later, Donna Maria called him inside. Come and see something. In the backyard, where the nail was, there was a little green sprout. Weak, crooked, but it was a sprout. Is it? Is it a little plant? Lucas widened his eyes. It seems so. Donna Maria smiled. But I don't know what plant that is. The sprout grew slowly. First, just two thin leaves. Then a stronger stem. Until, a month later, it produced a strange flower. Small, bluish-grey, with shiny tips like rust. I've never seen that in my life, Donna Maria murmured. Lucas touched the flower carefully. Is it magic? Or just a plant that no one knows about? She shrugged. But it's different, yes. Neighbors started showing up. Donna Celia brought a cornmeal cake and asked if she could see it. Su Joao, who knew about plants, scratched his head and said he had never seen anything like it. It could be old stuff, he said. There are plants that disappear for years and then come back. Lucas liked the idea. A forgotten plant that only he and his grandmother had found. He took an old notebook and started drawing. First the flower, then the nail, then the coin. He even made a map of the yard, marking where every strange thing was. Grandma, we should plant more things, he said one night, while they were drinking tea. Like what? I don't know. A button, a paperclip, an old key. Donna Maria laughed. You're trying to make a garden out of trash, Lucas. It's not trash. It's history. She didn't argue. The next day, I brought a handful of things from the kitchen drawer. A mother-of-pearl button, a 1960 coin, a diaper pin. Lucas dug new holes, placed everything carefully, and watered everything. What if nothing grows? He asked. Then we try again. Donna Maria patted him on the back. The good thing about planting is that you can always start over. And so, the backyard became a laboratory. There was a corner for coins, a corner for nails, even a section just for metal things. Lucas wrote down everything, the day he planted, how much water he gave, whether anything grew or not. One afternoon, While he was drawing in his notebook, Donna Maria sat next to him. You know, Lucas, in the past people believed that certain plants brought luck. Like a four-leaf clover? That. But there were also others. Rosemary for memory, rue to ward off evil, and our nail plant? What does she do? Donna Maria thought. I still don't know, but I bet she has a story to tell. Lucas looked at the yard, full of holes and strange sprouts. I think we are writing this story now. And the two remained there, quiet, watching the sun hit the new leaves. As if, underground, something was still waking up.